Johnny Dumbbell. What's good, fam? How we doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good, man. It's getting a little chilly out here in Berg. I know it's getting kind of cold in Ohio, too. But, hey, man, winter's upon us. We got the cold weather closing in. Halloween's almost here. Had a little bit of fun at the Halloween party over the weekend. It was a lot of fun here in Pittsburgh. Probably going to be pretty crazy throughout the week, too.
I had some success. I was out with my kids. We did some trick-or-treating. And, man, I just love single moms, Johnny. I got to tell you. Shout out to all the single moms.
Yeah.
All right, so
especially the ones that buy Capri Sun.
It's ask your favorite uncles, and we're here to be of service to the nephews and give them the game on how they should be moving forward. And you know, we're grateful that they write in and ask questions, and I appreciate that. So
yeah,
shout out to y'all nephews.
Yeah,
we want you to ask questions. We do.
Yeah, tonight we got a good show. You know, we got a couple of really simple issues, and we got one that's pretty complicated. You know, so we're going to weigh in on this one. We're going to give our amateur expert advice. And hey, in the comments, guys, let us know what you think about the situation. You know, give us a story of your own. If there's something similar to what you're hearing tonight, you know, let's read about it. Why not?
Megan says, I mean, hi. Alyssa's in the building with us. Appreciate it, ladies. Thank you for stopping by. Why you bully me? Shout out to Why You Bully Me. Appreciate it. What's up?
Nice.
All right, Johnny, why don't you go ahead and read our first question? Mini Mom, shout out to Mini Mom. Mini Mom's always rocking with us. We appreciate you.
All right, so we got question one's from Tyler. Tyler's going, he says, is it acceptable? I love this. Is it acceptable to double text if I took too long to reply to her last text? I can already tell you he's way too deep in his head. But he says, it seems like the consensus on double texting is a no-go, but I'm not sure about this one because I took a while to respond to her last text. We were texting around 6 p.m. and I responded at about 3 a.m. Man, you know, it'd be weird as if she was asleep. She left me on red. She left me on red. I think she thinks I'm uninterested or playing her because I took so long. I usually don't double text, but I'm thinking of breaking this rule one time because I did take a while to respond. She showed interest up until then. I don't want to come off desperate, but I'm pretty sure she thinks I'm not taking her serious now. What are your thoughts? Edit. Or P.S. She read the message a day later, but no reply.
All right. I want to know why you're texting her at all and why you're not leaving her audio messages. First of all,
I mean, I'm going to go even more basic than that. You know, the thing of it is that whether you took 10 hours or 10 seconds to respond to her, the fact is you responded. You received no response, which means you received a response. There are a lot of situations in which somebody's going to seem interested right up front. And maybe there's something you did that turned her off. Maybe there's something that, you know, whatever is happening up here for both you and or her. You know, this is a situation, though, where you are thinking and internalizing way too much. Excuse me, from this lack of interaction on her part. Okay. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to be the last one to send a text message and let it ride like that.
Well, here, Johnny,
that's just it.
What he's doing is he's not leading her. He's not instructing her to get back to him. If he did, he wouldn't be worried about the reply, if she replied, if she read it, because it comes down to her level of interest in him. If she's interested in him, she's going to reply, respond. That late texting, you know, that's just indicative to he's probably being boring with her, really.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't think it has anything whatsoever.
To want to text you back.
Yeah, remember, if she's interested in you, she's going to be excited to hear from you after however long it's going to be. Okay. You're not the thing that I've got to tell a lot of you young men is if you're scratching your head wondering if she's still interested, I'm going to go ahead and say she's probably not. You know, you're already questioning yourself as to whether or not you're coming across the wrong way, whatever that wrong way may be. But the thing of it is you are second guessing yourself here. That's not coming across confident. That's not coming across. And I'm not saying that she can see that because maybe she can't, but I guarantee you that there was something in your demeanor that must have, you know, I mean, I know it's asking a lot to ask what the content of the message was, but something tells me that there is either something boring or somehow off-putting in whatever that response might have been.
Well, Okay, Johnny, I wonder why these young men spend so much time chit-chatting with these
Oh
women,
man.
trying to get to know them, telling them every little thing about their life. The only thing your communication should be limited. You should always be leading. So you should be setting up the next date. When you know what the next date is, I wouldn't spend a bunch of time in between dates turning her off and giving her a reason to no show on you. Uh,
Well, not only that, but I mean, a lot of context can be lost in text messages that you would at least be able to demonstrate in something intangible like your inflection, or your body language when you're speaking in person. So, yeah, I think like the messaging, the text messaging, the phone, things like that. Color me old fashioned, but that is for setting up when the two of you can talk face to face and get to know each other on a much, at least more upfront and personal level.
Well, it's more indicative to a confidence issue, Johnny, because
Mhm.
these young men will say things in text messages and DMs that they would never say face to face to that woman.
Well,
They're
they're
more
terrified to be judged.
comfortable doing it behind the screen.
Yeah, they're terrified of being judged, but they feel like if they can't see the judgmental expression on someone's face, then maybe they must not be being judged. And and they're terrified of that. They're terrified of becoming somebody's hilarious story to their friends. They're terrified of being the butt of a joke in some way, shape, or form. And look, while I know that society does kind of put that pressure on you, you got to remember that number one, you should be able to laugh at yourself any damn way. But number two, you've got to be able to get to a place in your life where you like yourself and respect yourself enough to be willing to share what you like and respect about yourself with others. Because if you don't do that, you can still date, but you're going to be spending a lot of time trying to fit into somebody else's puzzle. And you may never.
All right. Well, look here, nephew. Let's talk for a minute. This woman did you a favor. She really did. She taught you your worth by refusing to see it. So now you could take this feedback and move forward and try to improve yourself. Nephew, you got some issues, but I appreciate you writing in. I really do. I think the core issue has nothing to do really with that woman at all. It has more to do with you.
Yeah, you're way overthinking it, man.
So
Way overthinking it.
why would he be why would he have that lack of confidence, Johnny, where he's worried about double texting? Really?
I mean, I think that he's been spending a little too much time, overanalyzing the way he's conducted himself when meeting somebody. I think he's been worried that he texts too much, and then he's worried that he texts too little. He's wanting to know what that happy medium is. So that shows me that he is asking us to help him find a rhythm. Now, the best advice I can give you is to find a rhythm, to find, a way of doing things and a routine in your life that you can, use to build upon yourself to, like I said, get to that spot where you like and respect yourself. Because if you don't, you are going to be doing what you're doing right now, which is like I was just describing. You are trying to fit into a profile that is going to be more attractive, that is going to be more nonchalant, or is going to be more of a, something that's going to be attractive to them. You are still trying to fit their ideals. You are still trying to fit their standards. And that would be okay if I could even understand you giving that a thought, except for one problem. You haven't even developed your own. So you're going to try to meet somebody else's standards without giving yourself your own standards to meet. No, this is what you need to do. You need to set those standards, set those goals, and set up a plan and a program to get to those goals. If you don't, you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants, not only with the way your life is going to go chronologically, but with regard to your happiness too, with regard to you being the man that you were meant to be. I mean, this is not going to happen overnight, but you got to trust the process. First of all, you got to make the process
You got to
and
make
then
the
be able to
process.
trust it.
You got to build a program. And I
Mhm.
got to tell you, the moment you stop chasing, that's when you start healing. That's when you start fixing yourself. Now, what you should be doing is talking to lots of women. Because if you were, you certainly wouldn't be worried about what one woman thought or if one woman was getting back to you or not. If you had 3 or 4 women texting your phone, I promise you, you would not even notice that one not responding. So I think you need to get out and meet more women. And that'd be the advice that I would give to you is to go out and give your number to more women, work on your approach, listen to Johnny Dumbbell. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel so you can work on your program, because you clearly don't have a program. And if you don't have a program and you're out here trying to date women, they're going to pick up on that, and they're going to pick up on how easy, flexible, and compromising you are when it comes to just the standards you have for yourself.
But they'll say you're nice. So, there's that.
Hey, they will. They'll tell you
yeah,
you're nice, nephew. You're like
I
a
mean,
brother to them.
yeah, I mean, and the thing of it is too is and what Bill's telling you is, it's absolutely true, because when you, especially in the online dating world, this day and age of online dating, don't think for a minute that a girl you've only talked to a couple of times doesn't have a couple of other guys that she's talking to in her DMs, or maybe she's even exchanged numbers with. And you know what? That's perfectly normal. We're in that particular stage of the dating process. You know, so if you're texting with a couple of different girls, she's texting with a couple of different guys. Look, this is the initial stages. You're still vetting. She's still vetting you. You're still vetting her, or at least you should be. This isn't something where you should be saying, "Oh man, I really hope I can be the kind of guy she likes." No, you should be saying, "Wow, she's hot. She seems interesting. I hope she fits into what I'm trying to do with my life." That's
Well,
what you should be looking at.
I think he's afraid to look needy, and it's not really about her. It's about him. And this is what we've been trying to tell you, how to work on yourself. And
he's also
you're
worried about being
your worth. Johnny, he's tying his worth to how quickly she responds.
Well, and he's also trying to be humble and not confident. And I got to tell you, Tyler, don't worry about that. That's not going to happen to you. As a matter of fact, I think you could use a little bit of a confidence boost, and the only person who's going to be able to give that to you is you. It's going to be a process, because it takes a lot of time for guys to get to that way. Like I said, you got to develop you got to develop that regimen. You got to develop that schedule for yourself. I've got some suggestions for you, but you got to get something you can be comfortable with and something you can stand by. Only then are you going to be able to put together the building blocks as to who you want to be.
Well, what he's scared of is that silence means rejection. And,
yeah, he doesn't want us to tell him that part. That's the part that I think he's trying to avoid saying to himself out loud in his head,
right,
quietly. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to hear that. He wants to hear every excuse there could possibly be for her to be interested in him, other than, "Oh yeah, no, she didn't like you."
Okay. Well,
there was something along the way that either turned her off, or even if you didn't turn her off, look, like I said, in the early stages, you're probably talking to a couple of girls, or at least you should be. She's probably talking to a couple of different guys. One of those guys might have caught her fancy in the meantime. That's got nothing to do with you, man. All this means is that you have given this way more thought than she did. And for as long as you're stuck on a situationship that never even happened, you're going to have to learn how to let those kinds of situations roll off your back. Like I said, whether it's relationships, dating, or the sales game, anybody who works in sales can tell you, it is a matter of knowing what's right for the person that you're dealing with at that time and what they can afford to invest. And that's something you're going to have to keep in mind too, as you make your choices, because again, it is not only okay for you to be the one that does the choosing, it is imperative that you do the choosing, not just your actions, not just the people in your life, but the program you decide to stick to, and make sure it's something you can stick to long term.
All right, nephew, let me tell you this. Her silence, it's not rejection, but it is information. And it should be telling you that she's not that interested in you, and that the two of you are probably not that compatible. So you shouldn't.
It happens.
You shouldn't. Nephew, you got to be willing to pivot with these women. Okay, you can't get too emotionally invested in one of them. This is why I'm saying you should have a few of them that you're talking to, a few of them that you're texting, especially until one of them pulls ahead of the others with consistency and shows you she's willing to follow your lead. Now, here's where the water gets murky for you. You're not leading them. There is no lead for them to follow. So you're just kind of out here doing what women want, and that's never going to work out for you, nephew.
Right.
So,
I mean, the thing of it is, it's not leading because you need to be in charge. It's leading because you're letting this person into at least that portion of your life. and this is your way of demonstrating this is how I do things. This is a silent demonstration of the kind of program that I have in my life, and hopefully we fit.
Well, here's the thing. You're worried about what's going to happen if you send another text. And if it costs you your peace to send another text, bro, she's already too expensive. Get rid of her. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is that you have the thing of it is, while it seems that you spent a lot of thought on this girl, and while you've given a lot of thought to whether or not you should text her, the fact of the matter is whether she's already moved on to somebody else or not is not really the issue here. The question you keep asking yourself is, am I memorable enough for her to text me back? Or should I nudge her and jog her memory a little bit? That's what that comes across sounding like to me. And again, that really does seem indicative of a desperate need for a little more self-respect on your part, a little bit more of a need for you to maybe get to know yourself and thus like yourself a little bit better in the coming weeks and maybe even months. Yeah, I think you're going to have to develop a routine that's going to help you, establish that, this is how I live my life and this is how we're going to accomplish short and long-term goals from here on out. But until you do that, you don't have that thing that you want to share with somebody else, which I got to call I got to call character and I got to call it charisma. You're going to need to figure out what those mean to you.
Well, he's worried about double texting, and I think he's missing
it's
a
a lot
bigger
in his
picture
head
here. I think it's more about ghosting, right? Isn't he more like, come on, nephew? Let's real talk here, no fluff. Tell your uncles what the real issue is. You're really worried about being ghosted, aren't you? So let's keep it real. And this is what we talk about. No response is a response. Ghosting is communication. Silence is an answer. Okay, you got this. I'm telling you, we can help you with this. If he's really worried about the ghosting, if somebody can't respect you enough to use their words, nephew, that's all the closure you need.
Yeah, and I mean, if the question you're asking is why is it that she seemed very interested at first and now all of a sudden it's crickets, the fact is you're asking the wrong question. The why does not matter in this case. The why does not matter in most cases. The fact of the matter is that you got your response in the lack thereof. That is all you need to know. The why is not going to be important because it's not going to help you at all. It's not going to help you in future endeavors because when and if it happens again, I promise you not going to be for the exact same reason. Maybe the same general reason, but the circumstances are, of course, going to be as unique as anything else. So knowing the why in this case, or knowing the why in the next case, or the last case, or whatever it is not going to help you in the future. It's important that you understand that this is an opportunity for you to forget about it, move on, and maybe start a conversation with somebody who is a little bit more compatible with you. Somebody who's going to be able to show you with their body language, with her, the way she speaks to you, the way she looks at you, all those things. That is called chemistry. You're going to have to look for somebody that you have that with. All you have with this girl is, from my count, about 3 text messages if you double text her.
And then what's the end of the message? She broke it off with him. She stopped seeing him or something. She broke up with him.
No, she just never responded. She just never responded because he thinks she didn't respond because he waited hours to respond to her. So he thinks that's what turned her off. And the thing of it is, dude, no, it is not what turned her off. You might not have turned her off at all. Either you sent her something that was way too sappy or way too, cringy as far as a response, or if all you said was a, hey, what's up? Fine. But again, if she's talking to somebody else, that person might have caught her fancy and she just saw no reason to text you back.
Yeah.
Dude, it happens. It happens.
He's taking this ghosting a little too personally, if you ask me. And look, nephews.
Well, he's trying to figure out why, it seems. It really seems like he wants the answer to why. No, you don't. You don't need it.
John, do you know how many times I've seen ghosting as guilt avoidance from women?
Oh, yeah.
So, he doesn't need to take it personally, man. He really shouldn't.
No, absolutely not. Like I say, these kinds of things happen all the time, and it really doesn't even necessarily have to do anything with you, and maybe not even with her. This is a situation where what you had was a total of 2 text messages, 2.5 since you already have this one in your head to send again. But all you have in is 2 text messages deep officially, and that's it. So relax, man. I mean, this is a situation where, if she didn't get extremely busy, like I said, man, she moved on. You should do the same.
Yeah, you should
You've
absolutely
already given this too much thought as it is.
and you should go strategically quiet with this woman. I don't know if you need to go full no contact, but I would strategically go quiet and not put my energy into
I
responding.
don't
Even
think
if
she
she
gave him
wrote
the
me
choice in
down the
this case.
road. So, all right, nephew. Appreciate you writing in. Go forth and conquer.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Feel free to follow up or call in if you'd like me to elaborate some more.
All right. So we got question 2. This is I gotta start remembering to do that more often. So this is from Scott, and Scott says, "I don't know if I should break up with my girlfriend." I'm gonna go ahead and say that I would pay attention there. Now, we are going to dive into a topic that honestly was kind of a hot button issue for our generation, at least when we were in college, back when long distance calling still existed. But this is not the case in this situation. But I'm still going to weigh in on from both perspectives. But he says, my girlfriend and I think that they're like 2021. He says, we've been together for almost 4 years. We are long distance. Our friend here, Scott, he's from San Diego, and she lives in Texas. And things were great to start out, but now not so much. As Johnny Dumbbell says, when I think about marriage, I don't get excited anymore. Well, that's not quite what I meant by that, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel like I'm not fully there in this relationship, and the thing is, I think I'm pretty mentally strong. I've been through a lot, and I can get through a lot. Her, not so much. She doesn't deserve the pain of the breakup. She hasn't done anything wrong, but I have to take her. And to have her take down pictures of us and pack up the things that I gave her. The thought of her sobbing while doing it makes me sad. But if I'm not fully present in the relationship, and she, as she told me, isn't feeling loved the way she needs, how can I keep her around? She says she wants us to stay together, but a part of me doesn't. I don't know what to do. First of all, here's the thing. If you are about that 21-year-old, that 21-year-old age mark, so you're long distance and you've never met, or you've never spent time together, or a lot of time together, or did you once live close together? I really wish we had more context as far as that goes. But the fact of the matter is this. You are in your early 20s, wasting the best years of your life being in a relationship that spans 1, 2, 3, 4 states. Three states or 4 states? A lot of states, a lot of distance. This is the kind of thing where at 21 years old, my God, are you going to be that guy who at 30 years old is single, sitting around looking back and wondering what kind of fun stuff you did in your 20s? The times you decided that it wasn't right to go out and do things because you had a girlfriend a couple thousand miles away. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and say that long distance relationships don't work, but I'm kind of saying that long distance relationships really don't work, man. And especially as young as you are, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of very precious time, and you're young and most fun year. Well, it was supposed to be your most fun years. At least I hope they are. But it doesn't sound like that's the case here. So before I even go into any of this, I'm going to say that the long distance relationship thing, you should do both of you a favor and not even worry about it at your age. Now, when you say she hasn't done anything wrong, and that's great. So what you're saying is you've fallen out of love with the situation that you were in love with. Because I don't see how you can be in love with somebody from thousands of miles away, especially if you've never met. I'm sorry, I don't get it. All right. So, I mean, I don't think that it's a matter of her having to do anything wrong. She doesn't have to have done anything wrong for you to feel this way. This is how you should have really thought about this the entire time. What you are feeling right now is that you're 21 years old and you're not trying to be tied down with a ball and chain, only that chain is however many miles it is from San Diego to Texas, wherever you are. I don't know. But the thing of it is that this is a giant, and I know this is going to sound like shit me saying this, it's a giant waste of your time if you're 21, 20 years old. Yeah, you should be doing so many other things in your life, so many things to build your empire as young as you are, so many things you could be learning, so many ways to, push forward in life, so many ways to mold your future. and you're really surrounding this situation with a lot of your energy. And from that kind of a distance, with that low probability of things working out, no, I don't think that you have the wrong idea in ending this or any other situation, a relationship. And I'm sorry, this to me is a situationship. That is not making you
Bruh.
happy. That is not fulfilling. You're not closing any kind of distance. No.
Johnny, how often do we see this? This is the whole reason why we get on here and talk to the nephews, because men in their early 20s rarely have structure in their life. Okay, we understand you don't have a mission. We understand your identity isn't even solid enough to be the leader it takes to hold a long distance relationship together, let alone turn one into marriage. And here's the thing, nephew, you're not excited about marrying her. That's great news, because that is clarity. So that just, you already know the answer. You already know what you need to do. But it's the 4 years, isn't it? You need to consider that time served, sir. And your sentence is now over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the distance is probably the problem, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
but the thing of it is he wants to marry a girl. He doesn't even know if he could stand living in the same city as her.
Right. I don't understand why you would talk to somebody you're not going to be in the same physical location at some point. Like if he knew he was going to college or graduate school or under something, close to her, and there was a end date, like a clear end date. Okay, in June of 2026, but he doesn't have
still, that's a ways in the future.
That
and see, for me at 21, even for me back then, that was too long for me. That was something I'd be like, no, we're not doing this a year from now. Okay, let's reconnect if we reconnect.
If you have no relocation plan, what's your relocation plan, nephew? What is the mutual mission between you and the woman? Like, I gotta know. We're going to talk about some emotional truths here, and I'm glad you wrote it. I really am. It's all love here, especially tough love. And I don't want to be too hard on you.
Well, he's wisely checking out. So at least we know that he's, really considering this. I think, again, this is another situation where he feels like he needs kind of our approval to get out of a situation that, is he making a mistake by getting out of this relationship is what he's wondering? No, absolutely not.
The mistake was staying out of guilt. Leaving out of honesty is the right move. And every day you drag this out, you're lying to yourself by... Look, I understand it. There's things that we don't like to do, and you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to do the things that you don't like to do, nephew. And here's the good news about it. It helps you form new neural pathways in your brain. When you're constantly doing stuff that you don't want to do every single day, when you're constantly being a man and standing on business, it rewires your brain a certain way. And look, I'm real big on self-discipline, and I can sit here and talk about it all day, but the problem is you need to break up with this woman right away, and you have to do it respectfully, because you do have 4 years invested. I understand you have these feelings with her, but if you can't see a future with her, then stop letting her live in your present. What are you doing?
Well, and moreover, like I said, I mean, you're looking to marry a woman who lives states away from you. Like, you don't even know if you could handle her living in the same city. I mean, what if you saw each other 2 or 3 times a week? That'd be a huge upgrade from what you're doing right now, if you ever see each other in person at all. So now you're going from this distance to seeing this person 2-3 times a week minimum. And remember, you're talking about marrying this girl. That's going to be 7 times a week. All right, most weeks. And so this is something that you really have not thought all the way through, because you were thinking with your emotions, and so was she. And this is never going to, I mean, I'm not saying it's never going to work out, but what I am saying is that you are really, really fighting some pretty tough odds. And as you've already seen, it's not fulfilling. So right now, you're not feeling fulfilled. And if that's the case, especially at your age, especially at that distance, no, do both of you a favor. Listen to your instincts here, because you're right. This is not something you need to be a part of. Find yourself a nice local girl, take her, to whatever, you figure out who you are, what you like to do, what's part of your program, introduce that to somebody that you can meet locally, and, see if that's, see if that's somebody who fits a lot better.
Okay, so you're gonna have to break up with her, and Unc here is gonna tell you exactly how to do it. Because sometimes we got to end things with women. Sometimes we make women cry, and that's just part of the job, bro. So you need to lead with gratitude and not blame. Like, say something like, hey, I want to start off by saying I really appreciated our time together. You've been a part of my life for many years, and I'm always going to be grateful for that. Basically, the point you need to make to her is that it's time to go your separate ways, but that it's all love and respect there, and it doesn't reflect her. You haven't met anybody. You're just moving in a different direction, and you can do that respectfully. So you don't want to do it defensively. Just be grateful for the time that you did have with her, because it shapes who you are. Don't drag it out. Be direct. Like, here's what a lot of you young men don't understand. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. But after 4 years, I understand you care about her. So you could say that, hey, I've realized I'm not in the same place I was years ago, or we don't have the same, we're not working towards the same goal. I care about you, but I don't see us moving forward or working out long term. And I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. And any explanation beyond that, you don't need.
I mean, yeah, dude, you've already blown like between your senior year of high school through your senior year of college, essentially. That's that's a chunk. At your young age, that's a chunk of your life. Yeah, and here's the nuance that I would put on that. Once you have had this conversation, once you've made this clean break, especially because of the long distance and most of the contact you've had has been over messaging, phone calls, you have to go no contact here. You have to absolutely go no contact. I don't care if you have to block each other, whatever it happens to be. Because the thing of it is, if you continue communicating, then nothing has changed. You still have that attachment to having that conversation, every day. You're still having that attachment to the correspondence that you've always had in this so-called relationship. So really nothing has changed other than the fact that you had that conversation, if you allow that to continue that way. So you've got to break contact. You've got to go completely no contact. And that's the only way you're going to be able to make this clean break for both of you. And for the love of God, kid, keep it within 25 miles from here on out.
Okay. And what we mean by that, no checking in, no let's stay friends.
You have your own friends and family.
No replying when they test that boundary. Okay? Every breadcrumb after a breakup is emotional manipulation, even if it's unintentional. Okay. So a clean break heals fast. A soft break keeps bleeding.
Yeah.
Think he's got it in him, Johnny?
I mean, I think he's pretty fed up with the way the situation is. The thing that he's struggling with is he doesn't want to be the mean guy. He doesn't want to be the one that broke her heart. And it's like, look, dude, if that's the case, if she's really going to be that brokenhearted, then you can consider this an opportunity to be cruel as a means of being kind. And to both, the thing of it is, you're not going to go through life without making somebody cry or without somebody making you cry. Well, the fact of the matter is that this is a cry fest that's going to happen for somebody. And it means that you're going to have to get out of this and be a little more realistic with your partner selection in the future.
We end with integrity, and we understand women are going to have their emotions, and we'd let them have that. We don't argue with them. Sometimes you have to let women sit with their feelings. Shout out to Mr. Lucario.
Oh.
So just don't fall back into the same patterns you're repeating. Don't seek comfort in her. You don't need to check in on her. Clean break. listen to Uncle Johnny, go no contact, and then tap in on Thursday night and learn how to build you a solid online dating profile. And don't even swipe on women that are more than 25 miles away from you, nephew.
Especially not for you.
All right, now go forth and conquer, nephew.
All right, so next one we get is from Rob. Now, Rob here is this the one? Okay, so Rob's kind of having the same conundrum here as Tyler, in a way. But Rob says, what types of texts show interest without being clingy when she's genuinely busy, and how often should I actually reach out? That's a long subject. He says, I've been seeing this girl for about a month, and she's slammed with work right now. She told me she's in the middle of a huge project deadline and might be less responsive for the next 2 weeks. I want to stay on her radar without being annoying, but I have no idea what that balance looks like. Do I text her every day with something light and funny? Every few days, wait for her to reach out first? And what do I even say? Hope your day is going well seems boring, but thinking about you feels a little too heavy for how new this is. Finally, you showed some sort of restraint. Okay. Let me know when you're free sounds passive. Last week, I sent her a meme related to something we talked about on our last date. She responded with, and I quote, haha, needed that. Oh, yeah, she wants them. But nothing else. I don't know if that means keep doing that or if I'm interrupting her focus. I like her and I want to show you, or I like her and I want to show I'm still interested. And dude, I think she knows. But I also don't want to be that guy blowing up her phone when she clearly said she's busy. What is the right move here? How often is reasonable, and what kind of messages actually land well?
Bruh.
At this point, reasonable would be no contact, but whatever.
Johnny, I agree. Okay, you and I, look, I know we're on a whole other level. We've been doing this for decades.
This is not high level stuff.
With our experience level. But here's the thing. Here's what he doesn't understand yet is that she's soft ghosting, and she's doing that. She's buying space to see if he's going to over pursue, and he's falling for it. Yep. He's wondering what to say. So whatever he did that makes her want to do this ghosting to try out the soft ghosting on him to see how he's going to react.
Yeah.
He's down bad already. Look,
the thing of it is that he's already, whether it's a real shit test or whether it's a subconscious shit test or whether it's just normal behavior, the fact of the matter is that I would have to ask, did she get busy before or after you started seeing each other? This is important. Did she get busy after you guys started talking, or did you already know she was a busy girl when you first exchanged information?
All right.
The reason I ask, it should be obvious to you, but in case it isn't, this could be when she tells you she's got a huge project that's going to make her less responsive. She already knows she's going to talk to you less for the next couple of weeks. Now, she probably does have a project going, but what I'm telling you is this is foreshadowing at its finest, dude. Scott, the fact of the matter is that it really sounds to me like you two met, started talking, maybe into the first date, second date, whatever it happens to be. She's trying to tell you that now she's extremely busy and, she's going to be less responsive for the next couple of weeks. Now, I don't know if that means that you've already texted her too much. When you're asking me about what more texts you can send her that shows interest but doesn't sound too clingy, what you are essentially telling me is that you are texting her ass off, and you want me to tell you that it's an acceptable amount. You want me to tell you, oh yeah, keep doing it. Just make sure it's light and witty. And let me give you a couple of magic fucking dad jokes that'll make her laugh and knock her socks off. Yeah, she'll be beating down your door. Fuck the project. No, the thing of it is that you are already coming across as needy. You are already coming across as somebody who needs a response right away. Or she would not have actually said, hey, look, I'm going to be backing off for the next couple of weeks. No, she doesn't want to say that to you because she probably rightfully feels like you're going to overanalyze and over-internalize this. And then you're really going to be a nervous wreck. Look what it's doing to you now.
Well,
this is a situation where,
she's cooling off, Johnny, and he needs to mirror that energy and not chase her.
And see, this is a common thing that a lot of ladies do, and you don't mean to do it. Honestly, I think it's just something that they're wired to do, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a natural thing. Because she is, like you said, she's pulling away to see if it's going to elicit a strong reaction or lack of reaction in this case, or is he going to come back with something emotional? Or is he going to show that feeling he's wearing on his sleeve by making sure he stays in contact with her? Because the last thing he wants to believe, the last thing his ego wants him to believe, is that she's simply not interested. No, he wants to make sure that there's every excuse in the book, and she's going to hopefully she's going to be like, hey, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, I'm busy. Yeah, that the translation here, my friend, was, don't feel bad, but I just don't like you that much, and I'm probably not going to text you all that often. Like Bill said, this is kind of her distancing herself and trying to kind of slowly peel the Band-Aid off. You know, and so I don't know if that's the right thing for her to do or not, but it sounds to me like he might be the emotional type that she doesn't want to hurt his feelings. And this really does reek of her trying to gently let him down easy over time.
Okay. When it comes to texting women, interest isn't in volume, it's in tone, timing, and purpose. Now, if you want to show a masculine interest and not look desperate, I'll give you a text or two you could send. In this situation, it would be something like, hey, you focus on your grind. I respect that. When you're clear, we'll set something up. You got to understand, nephew, I love it when women dismiss themselves. Like they just make it so easy sometimes. I love it. I will let them dismiss themselves.
And I think she really is trying to make it easy on him on this one. I mean, like, honest to God, I mean, I really do think she's at least trying to, she's doing what she thinks is the nice thing to do. But I think that but the thing of it is, why is she doing it that way? Because she has seen how emotionally fragile this guy is. She's seen how he almost can't stomach the thought of her simply not being interested. And she's trying to kind of soften that blow for him. This has now become pity, not romance.
Brandy says he is overanalyzing the situation. She told him she has a busy career and has a big project. Leave well enough alone. She knows you like her. My husband gets pissed if I text him while he's at work sometimes. Let her do her job, and I'm sure she'll text you after she's done with this.
Yeah, I mean, one of two things. She's either extremely,
I love it when the women come in here and give these guys
absolutely.
The game.
Yeah, one of two things. Either she's really, really busy on this project, like she said, or this is her way of backing away and trying not to hurt your feelings. Either way, the best way to do is
him. That's exactly it. There's a frequency rule.
Well, either way, the solution is the same though. The solution is, we don't text her twice in a row, especially not this one.
Okay, here's what I would do. If she says she's busy, she's going to be busy for 2 weeks, I would text her once, like within the first few days. Something respectful, acknowledgement, no kind of validation seeking in the message. And then I'd go quiet because I don't chase. And I'm not going to fill the silence. And I'll let her reach out once her schedule or her life permits. Look, sometimes... Okay, look, nephews, I'm going to give it to you straight here. Women do not, most women, not all, most women do not like accountability. They don't want to be held accountable for their bullshit. So when you give them a little bit of a window and some leeway to not be accountable for their bullshit, they will circle back once they realize, hey, you know what? I fucked up. The grass isn't any greener over there. In fact, it's worse over there. I had it better over here, and because they're able to save face, because their natural inclination is to avoid accountability. Now, you got to understand,
or at least awkwardness. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to understand it. You have to have a program. And if they did something specifically against your program, something you find disrespectful, something you would not tolerate, then there is no coming back from that. However, a lot of women that you meet, especially at the first month or so, you should be very casual with. You should be talking to other women. You should understand that they're talking to other guys, and it shouldn't be that serious. You should give them the room to dismiss themselves. So if she's going ghost on you, I'd let her. Honestly,
Yeah.
find yourself some other women. And
I
you
mean,
wouldn't even be
even if you
worried
don't spend
about
any
this
more
one.
time on this, you're spending way too much energy on this.
I also would like, what kind of mission do you have as a man where you're that worried about a woman? I don't understand a lot of you nephews. Like, don't y'all have a purpose? Don't you have goals? Don't you have things that you want to accomplish in your life that are unique to you? Why are you letting these women distract you from this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, and even if it wasn't a woman, it would be, let's say you have a crappy job that takes up a lot of your time. That shouldn't be distracting you from taking steps to move your life forward to get to somewhere you want to be. Nothing should be getting in your way. And the thing of it is, if things are, you got to be able to cut them out.
A Giggity Band says they need accountability buddies.
I love it. Accountability buddies. That's awesome. I like that.
All right. So, like, look, don't worry about her, bro. Get to the gym, go on your grind, be about your purpose, find peace in your life. And when she texts back, she texts back. You might not hear from her for several months, and that's okay too. You have to be able to leave a candle in the window. And shout out to Steve, the Dean Williams at themanmindset.com. Steve talks about this all the time, leaving a candle in the window for women so they can spin the block and come back when they're ready.
Now, we're not talking about the ones that actually screwed you over. We're just talking about the ones that you didn't fit with right away.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, final thought, man, just, you're thinking way too much about it. You're going to have to actually start thinking about you for a change and, get yourself straight, man. All right. So this is our main event. This one is, man, this one's going to be rough. So this one is Keegan, and he says she got pregnant by her ex and then reached back out to me. This one's got some turns. This is, I met a girl in April of this year. It quickly became very deep despite her still living with her ex and their child. It sounds stupid, and I know I'm an idiot, but the way this girl love bombed me was insane. Demanding I get more obsessed with her, telling me everything I wanted to hear, would tell me she did love spells on me. Oh boy. This one's the Fruit Loop. Okay. I truly fell so hard so fast, and it really seemed like she did too. Okay. First of all, let me just say, in the first paragraph, you actually have blamed 3 or 4 outside things that had nothing to do with you for why you made the very mistake that you knew you shouldn't be making at the time you were making it. Anyway, during August, I noticed she suddenly changed changed after a small argument. She became distant. We ended things. She would still reach out and we would talk a decent amount during the week. We had another fight in September and went no contact. I was extremely hurt, but doing okay with no contact. But I was missing every second of her the entire time, but I was being strong. This past Monday morning, she texted me and told me she screwed up. She she had saxophone with her ex and is now pregnant. She claims she still has no interest in him, clearly. And she did it purely out of sexual frustration, and she knew that he was safe. This obviously shattered me. The whole week she's been telling me how she can't believe she messed it up with me and how she can't believe she betrayed the literal perfect guy. No one has ever made me feel never made her feel how I did. Ladies, in the comments, translate what she is saying to him when she says, "No one has ever made me feel like you have." Please. She even told me she wishes that the baby was mine. She said how no one was ever more perfect and caring for her than I was, and that this was a mistake, not a choice, definitely a mistake, that she hates herself for, and now has to live with for the rest of her life. Obviously, this week has been mental hell for me. We both shared tons of feelings about everything, but ultimately no contact is where we ended up. I am utterly devastated on how someone who seemed so absolutely perfect in every single way possible, someone who was literally heaven sent to me, wow, just wow, could do this. The manipulation here is not only in abundance, but it's a lot more common than you think, fellas. Bill, take it.
Bruh.
Wow. Okay, so look, we gotta understand they're young. They probably haven't dealt with this before.
Let's see.
This is chaos dressed in attention. Okay, Mini
Ego
Mom,
here
I
is
was
about
getting
24.
there. Shout out to Mini Mom, narcissistic, feeding her ego.
Holy Jesus, yeah.
Keeping two guys on the line. She probably treats the other guy bad too.
I don't know. See, that's what's funny. I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the lure is for the other guy or what the lure is for this guy, but what I do know is that he talks about how she love bombed him at the very beginning.
That was her coping.
She
That
goes
wasn't
away.
her
She gets
connecting.
yeah. She goes away. She gets railed. She gets stuffed. She comes back and says, "Hey, this guy's not and then she goes and love bombs him again. Why does she love bomb him when she comes back pregnant by somebody else? Because it worked the first time. And it probably worked so many other times when, with arguments that he didn't even mention here. These are the kinds of things that if she sees that these kinds of things work, why not keep doing it? Why would you stop at successful formula? She has been able to get you with every single love bomb she has dropped on your ass. And you have taken her back because, you have some sort of attachment to her that you can't seem to shake. Because the pain that you mistake for pain, it's actually transition. The pain of transition is so scary to you because now you have to be introspective. Now you have to face that guy in the mirror and realize that you are the only member of your life right now because she's gone. Now you have to readjust to life on your own. And for some reason, you're terrified of that. I'll tell you why you're terrified of it, because now you've got to face the unknown, and that unknown is you.
Well,
You've got to be able to face somebody and decide, how to make yourself better to the point where you like and respect yourself enough to share that. And you're nowhere near that destination. And I think the pain of that transition is at least the subconscious manifestation of you not being ready to go that distance. But see, the thing of it is, you wrote into us. That tells me you're ready to take the first step. So that's good for you, man. I mean, I'm glad that you're at least asking questions. You're coming out here and discussing this. You got a panel full of people watching that could leave some good, helpful comments, something that maybe we didn't touch on. But the fact of the matter is that she doesn't respect you because you don't respect her. And that's why this cycle continues to repeat and will continue to repeat until you have decided that you are above this kind of treatment.
Brandy says X found out she was knocked up and needs a baby daddy. If X didn't work, she knew she had a sucker on the line.
Yeah.
Mini Mom says lack of self-esteem on both of the guys' part.
Absolutely. Well, and that's just it. Either that or the other guy doesn't give a rat's ass either way. I mean, but what I'm seeing here though is never mind what the other guy does. Never mind what this girl even does. The fact is you haven't even figured out what you do. Okay, Keegan, the thing of it is you haven't decided what your program is going to consist of. You haven't even decided where you want to be in life. And you know what? At your young age, that's okay. But if you want to take steps towards living the life you love and being the kind of person that you would hang out with, to the point where you're okay with being alone, man, you got a road ahead of you. And I think that that road is going to start with a pretty significant speed bump, and that speed bump is going to be this girl. Get rid of her. You have no responsibility to her. You have no tie to her, no legal anything with her. And thank God, because I'm telling you what, with this kind of personality, with these kinds of acts, and the fact that she continuously gets away with it, not only with you, but with this other guy at the very least, and God knows who else. And I don't just mean, romantic sexual partners. I just mean the people in her life. There are probably a lot of people who are knowingly and unknowingly enabling this behavior. You have the choice to cut yourself off from that, to take a step away from that, figure out who you are, and seek like-minded people in the future. People that will bring your life forward, or at least not drag you down. People that will bring peace instead of chaos. This girl is chaos with blonde hair. I'm assuming she's blonde. I don't know why. But
Bruh.
the girl's chaos.
Okay, well, here's the thing, nephew. When she says, I wish it was yours,
Oh
I
God.
need you to understand what she's really saying. We talk about this on the Thursday show, reading between the lines, the subtleties and nuances, the thing women say. Sir, that is regret wrapped in
Mhm.
manipulation. I wish it was yours. So here, let's talk about what's really happening here. She's not trying to rebuild with you, Keegan. She's trying to relieve her guilt and secure a safety net. You're talking about someone who's pregnant. So they're emotional. They're scared. They're unstable. She's reaching for the one man that made her feel safe,
Yep.
not the one that she built with. That's weird. Not the one that she's pregnant by. You're perfect. I wish it was yours. I want you to work out. Those are comfort words, but they're not commitment actions.
Yeah, those are
So,
words to make you. Those are words to make you believe that she would be completely committed if you were to just go ahead and take her back. Meanwhile, this you could be nothing more than a placeholder at this stage, and that's where you're going to start to see that behavior decline and start to go downhill. But here's the thing: I don't have to tell you that because you've already seen her do this. This is a cycle again. Like I said, it continues to repeat, and it's going to continue to repeat because she doesn't respect someone that you don't even respect. And that's you, dude. Um,
well, look, the situation is going to eat him up if he tries to fix it.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's the thing.
This
It's not.
woman's
It's
not
not his
ready to
job to
love
fix it.
anybody. She doesn't even love herself.
No.
She's carrying another man's baby and just the emotional chaos that's coming from her. Even if you take her back, every argument is going to circle back to trust, betrayal, and comparison. Bro, you can't save a woman
Man.
from a storm she keeps inviting.
No, you should just be happy that you didn't get caught in that storm. And that's just it. This is a situation where you could have been the one on the hook for the next 18 years. You're not. Okay. Now, this other guy, I don't know if he's going to be responsible or do his job, but she might be coming to you looking for a father figure. I caution you. I caution you about raising a child that is not yours. I know it sounds like the noble thing to do. And I know that it's easy to love that kid. And I know that it's easy to become, a really great parent and think that you're becoming the best version of yourself. But remember that that day can still always come where you will suddenly have no more contact with that kid just because. And understand if you are not if you are not mentally tough enough to handle that, don't do it. And I can almost guarantee you that the most of you, most of us, we ain't got the grapes for that. It's rough, man. That's something you should, not only think about, but think about intensively. Trust me.
Okay, well, don't internalize her dysfunction, nephew. Her choices reflect her patterns and not your worth. So, I'd really like to
Yeah.
give you some advice to go forward. And I have experience dealing with narcissistic women. Here's what you got to understand. She's either going to, it's always going to be about control, attention, or validation for her. And if you're not feeding those, she's going to need that fed from somewhere else. There's going to have to be another source. Like if you try to draw a line and put your foot down, it doesn't matter to her. It's like an addict. They're just going to find somewhere else to score from. So your best bet is to just cut her off, forget she even exists. Thanos snap her out of existence with your infinity gauntlet, forget her name and move on and find a woman that respects herself so she can respect you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's exactly right.
Mini Mom says, master manipulator. Is she even pregnant? Attention seeking.
I mean, I'm gonna assume she really is pregnant because it sounds like she's really freaked the hell out about it. But if she's not, that's even more that's even more of a screw up. That's another possibility. The thing of it is that I remember probably about she's one of the first girls I dated after my divorce. This girl had this weird medical condition where she was only pregnant when I broke up with her. It was weird.
Bruh.
So yeah, I mean, and look, there are some crazies out there that'll make those kind of claims in that situation. I don't really have enough context to know whether or not I think that's the case with her, but if that is the case, yeah, that's messed up, man. But even if she is, this is a situation where she is looking for some sort of stability, and she's not looking from within like we all should be. She's looking for stability from either baby daddy or a surrogate baby daddy, or something like that. This is a situation where you've got a minimum of 2, possibly 3 people who are looking outward for the solution to their problems. And they each have their own individual problem with the current situation. These are 3 people that probably need to understand that only the decisions that they make for themselves and the way they decide to move from here forward is going to affect them. Is going to affect them in any positive way. There's 3 people here who maybe should give a lot of thought to the kind of person they want to be, and 2 of them ought to think about the life they're influencing. And man, I really think that we're talking about 3 people who are going to learn the hard way over the next, him over the next couple of months, them over the next 18 years, of what happens when people who really aren't ready end up having to make themselves ready. Man, heart goes out to them.
All right, nephew. One thing I like to do here is give you the game on how to move forward, because I want you to go forth and conquer. So the path forward for you is going to be 3 steps. Step 1, stay no contact. She chose chaos, bro. Let her live in it. Okay,
you have no obligations here.
Unless you got a cape in the closet and your name is Captain Save-A-Ho, you need to leave this woman alone. Step 1, no contact. Step 2, mourn the fantasy, not the person.
Yeah.
The woman he loved never existed. She didn't. It was a performance that was built on her pain and her agenda. And
yeah, you're not brokenhearted. You're having a hard time with transition. Nothing wrong with that.
The most important thing, step 3, you need to transmute the heartbreak. I challenge you to do the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. Johnny, put him on the game. Tell him about the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge.
So what I'm suggesting to you is not easy. I'm suggesting something that is going to be difficult, something that's going to require something you've probably never given to yourself before, and that's your own commitment. And what I want you to do is I want you to commit to going to the gym at least 3 times a week for 4 weeks. Make it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Yeah, whatever. Forget about it. Whatever days you want to go, but make it 3 days a week for 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, you're not done. I want you to add another day. I want you to start going 4 days a week for 4 more weeks. Now, I don't know if you're seeing this live, if you're going to be able to see this once it's posted to YouTube, but leave us a comment. Let us know how it's going. Anybody else out there who decides to accept this challenge, get out there. Let me know how you're doing after 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. The thing that I can guarantee you is that you'll never have a tough workout, finish it, and then say, man, I really wish I hadn't done that. No one regrets progress.
Use the pain as fuel, nephew. It's not a leash. All right, Johnny, I think that's going to about do it for us tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, guys, I hope what we had for you helped out tonight, gave you a little bit of ways to kind of understand that, number 1, there's a solution to every problem. Number 2, if you don't know what it is, you got us to write into. So thanks for writing in. On behalf of Bill and me, I got to say, we try to help you out the best we can. One thing we can't do is bail you out of jail. So no drugs or alcohol, please. But if you do drink, don't drive. If you do drive, don't park, because accidents cause people.
Yeah.